So you want to start a woodworking business, but you just don't know where to begin. In this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 tips to starting your very own woodworking business, as well as share my journey on how we started ours. Disclaimer, these are my opinions based off my experiences. Everybody's situation may be different. One of the biggest things that I advocate is to just get started, so hopefully this video will help you get started in the right direction. For more woodworking tips or our weekly DIY videos, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Now let's get started. Tip number 1 is to believe in yourself and have confidence that you can achieve your goals. You could possibly have friends or family that might not support the idea of you starting your own business, but just keep pushing through and use it as motivation to work harder. Make a plan, put in the work, and believe in yourself, and you will succeed. It may not happen as fast as you'd like, but just keep grinding. Tip number 2, don't go into debt before you get started. Too many times I see people taking out loans or using credit cards to buy a bunch of brand new nice tools. Don't get yourself into a situation that may take you years to pay back. If you are just getting started and you need your basic tools, check out my last video on my top 6 affordable tools. Obviously, that's not all the tools that you'll need for your business, but it's enough to get you started in the right direction. Don't concentrate on buying the most expensive tools. I still use some of my more affordable tools that I purchased when I first started my woodworking business. Again, this is a business, and the goal of a business is to make more money than you spend. Another way to keep costs down is to work out of your garage or your basement, or find a free space to work from. Your shop doesn't have to be extravagant to be efficient. When I first began, I worked out of a 12 by 20 foot space in my parents' horse barn. If you can avoid paying rent, that's just that much more money that you can invest back into your business. Tip number 3, be open to try new things. At this point, I'm assuming you have an idea of the type of items that you want to build, but be open to try new things. Trying new projects is a great way to improve your skill set and add stuff to your portfolio. With that being said, I don't mean take on every project that comes your way. I do mean if a client comes to you with something new that you've never built before, don't be afraid to take a look at it to see if it's something you might be able to do. A great example from my experience are our custom entertainment centers. When I was first approached by a client to build one, I had never built an entertainment center before, but I mapped it out, broke down how I would do it, and now they are our top selling item. Tip number 4, be social. As in social media or the internet. You can build the most beautiful pieces of furniture in the world, but if nobody sees them, nobody's going to buy them. With the advantage of social media and other online platforms, advertising is not only free, but it can reach an unlimited amount of potential clients. Our entire business began from selling items on Facebook Marketplace. In fact, today, a lot of our products are still purchased through our Facebook business page. Another advantage to social media is connecting, learning, and being inspired by the woodworking community. My favorite form of advertising is word of mouth. Probably 95% of our orders stem from word of mouth, whether it be from somebody's family member, neighbor, or friend. Third-party validation goes a long way when somebody's looking to buy something. If they get a recommendation from a friend, they're more likely to make that purchase. Establishing a good relationship with your customers is essential for running a successful business. Tip number 5 is probably one of the most asked questions that we receive, and it's how do you price your items? Now, since there are so many different factors that can determine how you price your items, I'm not going to give you a magic formula, but I am going to go over some examples of my experience and how I price my product. If you're just starting out and trying to get your name into the community, pricing shouldn't be your number 1 concern at this point. Establishing a good, positive customer base should be. If you build a reputation as someone that puts out quality products, you establish a great customer base and your pricing will follow. If this means doing projects in the beginning just to cover your material costs, that's the fastest way to learn and grow your portfolio. If your skill set, quality of work, and reputation increase, so can your pricing. Now, there are other factors that can affect pricing, such as location. Depending on where you're located or what your customer base is can have a direct impact on how much you can charge for a certain product. So now that you've established a little bit of a reputation, when you're pricing your items, be mindful of your labor, your material costs, and any other overhead costs that might be associated with running your business. There becomes a point in your woodworking career where your reputation alone can drastically dictate what you charge for your items, and this is where you want to be in any business. So to recap, my 5 tips to starting a woodworking business are to believe in yourself, Don't go into debt before you get started. Be open to try new projects. Be social and be mindful of your pricing. Tip number two, tip number two, tip number two. Tip number two is... Tip number two, don't go into debt before you get started. In my parents' horse barn. I lost my spot. If you can avoid paying rent... I'll say that again. Am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling. Blah, 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 blah. You look like a conehead. Fuck.
Babe.
Well, you started moving and I got distracted. Looking to buy an object. Believe. A good relationship with your customer. Establishing a good relationship should be. I think I skipped a lot of things there. Products. Fastest way to... I had it going. Just to cover your... Why can't I talk? All right. Another factor... More woodworking tips or For more woodworking tips or our weekly DIY videos, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Now let's get started.